Because the next one. You're welcome. Let me do the.
So I can close this now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Forrester. Today is Friday, November 21st, 2025. This is the hearing of Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. The following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Pohl. Robert Sazowskis.
Good morning, Elaine Keys.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Andy Rosafort, 450012.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Andy Roseport, inmate number 450012. She is serving a sentence of 10 years, suspended after 30 months with 10 years probation, sexual assault second. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of November 17th, 2025. There is victim input in the case. There's an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows she has completed the WARNA and the short track sex offender program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment WARNA, the offender's overall stable recidivating involved in the lower range. Ms. Roseport, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Say that again?
So this is your chance to tell the board why you think you should be granted parole.
Okay, thank you. First, I want to thank you all for the privilege of speaking before you today. I want you to know that I don't take this opportunity lightly. I spent my 20s becoming a young mom and a wife, two roles that I took with such honor. Through time, I grew into feeling unloved, unseen, unheard, and sometimes alone. Eventually, I was seeking that attention from my victim, which is where I lost a grasp on life for a short period of time. Through filling a void in my life, I negatively impacted the victim where he feels shame, anxiety, and humiliation. I have extreme empathy and remorse to his family, and I am truly accountable and take responsibility for my crime. I also would like to apologize to the community where I once lived, as well as my entire family. In the last 14 months of being here, I have sat with myself and dug deep to process a lot of my actions that led up to this. Through daily opportunities here, I chose to attend many groups such as coping skills, DBT, recovery, standing strong, and self-esteem classes. I go to church weekly, and I run a small Bible study group on my tier each morning, which I'm extremely proud of. I have held the tier laundry position for 11 months and completed my S1 referral into Dr. Sheffel's PSB class. I have proudly lived here and spent my time the correct way, discipline-free. Here at York, it's a place where I have learned so much about myself and others. It's in my soul to encourage and uplift anyone who needs a little grace, because Lord knows I need it sometimes. I have been able to apply that here daily. When I do go home, I look forward to rebuilding my life and teaching my daughters we are a strong family unit and we can do hard things together. I'm a woman with a past, yet I have hope for a beautiful, simple future ahead. I'm very fortunate to have family, neighbors, coworkers, clients, and friends who truly believe in me. I was someone who deserved punishment, condemnation, and criticism. I was at fault for this crime, and my victim won't be the same. However, I courageously look forward to doing the right thing with an apologetic and contrite heart. I will take action and continue therapy with my therapist at home, but most of all, if granted, I can't wait to be back with my kids again. I really want to thank you all for this opportunity to speak here for today.
Thank you, Mr. Rosafort.
Thank you.
So what we've done is we've read about your background, what you've done since you've been in your interview with the parole officer. And based upon that, we have some questions that we're going to ask you.
Sure.
To bring clarity to some of the things that we might need to. And then we're going to hear from the Office of Victim Services. Then we'll talk about your case and give you a decision, okay?
Thank you.
And we're going to start questions this morning with Board Member Sosakis.
Good morning, Ms. Rosafort. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we're just going to go through some questions and try to clarify some of the things I read in some of the documents. There are a lot of different versions, I guess the best way to say it is, of what occurred, at different points throughout the legal process that have come out.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your opening statement, taking responsibility, and that helps bring some clarity for me to some of the things. But we're going to go through the questions.
Sure.
Is it your opinion that you sent the victim these inappropriate photos and videos, or some of them by accident? Is that still your opinion?
One of them, yes.
And so is that, you're talking about the very initial situation, the very first photograph or video?
No.
Okay. So your initial contact with sending inappropriate photos or videos, that was not an accident. You intentionally sent those.
That was intentional at first, correct?
Okay. Did you ask the victim to send you nude pictures of him?
No.
Did you ask? Have you read the police reports? You're aware that that's part of this, that has been stated?
I am aware that has been stated.
So you never requested, your opinion, what you're saying today is that you never requested nude photos from the victim of himself?
No, I did not.
Do you think that the victim is partially at fault for what happened?
No, I don't. I am an adult. I was in a position of working in a school and I was wrong. I should not have, seen this through any further. So I definitely don't put any blame on him at all.
Is it your opinion that the victim was extorting you? I've seen this several times in different reports.
In my heart, yes, I do believe was his intent.
You mentioned a little bit about this in your opening statement, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about what you think the long-term effects may be on the victim and the victim's family, what they might experience after all of this?
I know I can't imagine what it feels like to be in their position. I've spent the last almost 3 years after everything happened thinking about that. I know that he feels extreme shame and guilt and anxiety. I know from previous documents that I've read, he has sleepless nights and dealing with mental issues, which I hope he's, able to get therapy for. But I truly do. My religion for me is very big. So I pray for his family, and people don't understand that. They say, how can you pray for someone like that? That put you here, but it's not him that put me here at all. And it's like, I'm praying for peace for them. I really do. And I hope he does find that.
Right. All right, we're going to move on to some of the programming that you've done. This coping skills program is for sex offenders, right? Is that program
Correct.
you completed? Can you tell us the kinds of things that you've learned that can help you so that this kind of thing doesn't happen again when you're out?
Yeah, we did a lot of that in group with Dr. Scheffel. And at first it was a little jarring, the class, because there was a lot of situations that were brought up that I never even thought were possible, to be honest. But it was, in the end, really great to see the victim's point of view and to see how when we're put in different situations, we just need to walk away. I'm a mother, first and foremost. So for me, being around kids is something that I'm not going to do unless it's my own children. So putting myself in those situations is something I am not willing to put my neck on the line for. We learned about the different levels of relationships and friendships and boundaries that we should be keeping. And I think during my time here, even though I'm now 34 years old, I have learned boundaries. I have found my voice. I know how to say no. There is no swaying one way or the other. No is no, and yes is yes. And I stick firm to that. And I've learned that all here in multiple classes.
So when you say, I know how to say no, I mean, are you saying that you were taken advantage of in some way? Do you feel like you were taken advantage of by someone?
No, not in my crime situation, but in other ways in my life.
Okay.
I
Okay,
definitely
understood.
was a people pleaser. Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
How do you think you've changed the most since you've been in prison?
I don't mean to get emotional, but a lot of people think that prison is the worst place for you to go. And they think that it's gonna change you for the worst. And every day, I'm thankful for my opportunity to be here and to learn from different women and see the pain that they've gone through. And I carry that with me because a lot of these women are also victims. And that's where I've learned just true compassion and grace and just how to love people the right way and giving them what they need when they need it in the right way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You told the parole officer during an interview that you thought your sentence was fair. Do you still believe that?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. You're on the waiting list, it looks like, according to my records, for the New Thoughts program and the Voices program. Have you heard anything about when they might start?
No. I've been eagerly waiting for 14 months wanting to start it because I hear the New Thoughts program is great, but I have not heard back yet.
Okay, let's talk about your release plan. You talk about where you plan to live and work and how you plan to stay away from further problems with the law when you get out.
Yeah. Truly, I'm not concerned about further problems with the law at all. That's not anything that weighs on me. I've gone 33, 32 years. Clean slate, never any issues with the law or breaking the law. So that I don't worry about at all. Where I'm gonna live, I'm gonna be living with family in Southbury, Connecticut. It's just gonna be me, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin. And I'm gonna be working at the salon that I previously worked in before I was incarcerated. And I know they're eager to welcome me back. I'm very blessed to keep in touch with my boss, and she comes and visits me, and they're eager to get me back. And, I can't wait to see all the clients and everyone else who's been praying and uplifting me through these last 2 years.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions. That's all I have. Let's see what my
Thank
colleagues have anything else. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Board Member Keys.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your answers so far. When you were speaking with the officer in preparation for the hearing today, you told the officer that when you first came to prison, you were angry. What were you angry about?
I was angry because I never had to leave my kids. I've never had to be away from my kids. There was a lot of control that I had to give up with coming here. And that was really difficult for me. I was angry because, like I said, I was a mother. I was the go-to for everything. And going through a divorce, that all fell on me as well. Through time, my ex-husband and I were now great co-parents, even while I'm incarcerated. But it was a control that I had to give up, and that was really hard for me. Yeah.
I want to ask, so you have daughters, and I want to ask if your oldest had someone working at the school that friended her on, social media, and then sent her an unsolicited naked pic, would go to their games and practices and video record her and send it to her. And would you feel that after a year and for the sentence, it would be okay for them to come out now?
To be honest, I don't know how I would feel. Like I said, my religion is big to me, so I pray for forgiveness for a lot of people. In my heart, I think if I knew that person had children and I knew the impact it was having on their kids, I would think it would be a sufficient amount of time.
If they had sex with your daughter in the car, and then she suffered what this child suffering?
Again, I think I don't know how I would feel in their position, but yeah, I do think it would be enough time in my heart.
When you were in the community awaiting trial or trial was going on, were you how were you talking about this with people in the community? If people asked you about it and you were posting on social media and stuff, how were you, I guess, talking about this? Were you being honest and acknowledging responsibility?
As per my lawyer's request, I did not speak about it at all. When people asked me, I kept my mouth shut and I let it all unravel in court and in the paper, however it fell. I didn't say in the community. I left. I went to my parents' house.
It'd be nice to be with parents at a time like that.
It was everything. Yeah, I'm very lucky.
We did receive at least 15 letters of support for you. I
Mhm.
did want to ask did you help people with the language for the letters? Did you send them
What-
key points to mention or?
No, I only know of 4 letters that I think my parents, maybe my aunt and uncle, and my boss sent in. But I haven't talked to anyone else. Yeah.
Their network probably worked with each other because there was very similar phrases and words used, and one actually had at the top the list of points I think they were supposed to make, and then the letter that incorporated them. And then I noticed those same words and phrases were used in other letters. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know there was 15 letters, to be honest. I only
Yeah.
knew of the 4.
Yeah, it was, you do have a lot of support, which is wonderful. And hopefully that will really help you when you do a transition home to further your self-work and reintegrate and hopefully remember this victim, as well
Absolutely.
and send him grace. One other thing, and I don't know if it's really a question. So the place you want to return to, your aunt and uncle, sounds wonderful, and they did submit letters. But it was mentioned it is a 55 plus community. And so I was wondering if you guys have all looked into whether you're allowed to move in there. And,
Right.
So, and it's, I guess more, did they ask?
Yeah, so
anyone,
that's
or?
not where my aunt and uncle live. That was a second option. That was for my grandparents. That was my first option, but because it was a 55 and up and because it's an HOA, I didn't want to risk, the process of being denied and then going back. So that's why I chose my aunt and uncle, and they were gracious enough to offer me to stay there. So yeah.
Right, thank you. I just wanted, I didn't want you to get
Thank
out
you.
and then realize and
It'd
have
be an
this
issue.
turmoil and-
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm really, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ms. Rosefort, your portion is over and we're gonna hear from the Office of Victim Services. You can't interrupt during this time.
No problem.
Then we're gonna talk about your case and we're gonna give you a decision, okay?
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Vasquez. Could you help us here, please?
Good morning, Chair and board members. I had the opportunity of speaking with family members of the victim, and they have asked me to read this letter, 2 letters on their behalf. Good morning, board members. I am writing to convey the profound impact that Andy Russellfort's actions have had on my family, and most importantly, on my son. Andy friended my son on Snapchat when he was just 12 years old. At 12 years old, I'm going to use victim's initials. M was a fun, loving, kind-hearted child whose presence filled our home with laughter and joy. Our house was once alive with the sounds of his friends and the warmth of shared memories. Sadly, that vibrant atmosphere has now been replaced with an emptiness that weighs heavily on us all. Although he continues to arrive at school each day, beneath that stoic facade lies the weight of his hidden depression. Articulating this tragedy's impact on our family seems nearly impossible, and we recognize that it will be a lifelong process. My son was a child who consistently demonstrated kindness and empathy, even earning a kindness award in 5th grade. He was the kind of kid who saw the good in everyone and gave his trust freely. Andy exploited his trusting nature, which led him into a dark and confusing place. Her manipulation and deceit have isolated him from his friends and shattered the close-knit family dynamic we once cherished. Excuse me. Our home now feels silent, devoid of the joy that our son's presence once brought. The friendships that once brightened his days are now distant memories, and he struggles to find support in a world that feels increasingly alien to him. He is now a shadow of his former self, unsteady, confused, and alone. This profound change has deeply affected our entire family, leaving us grappling with a reality that seems almost unrecognizable when we look back at old family photos. Instead of enjoying social events and the excitement of what lies ahead, his high school years are marked by solitude. This will define his high school memories. His spirit was crushed not just by the betrayal of someone he trusted, but also by Andy's continued disregard for his well-being. Even after her arrest, she showed no remorse for her actions. Instead, she persisted in parading around town, spreading lies and misinformation that further wounded him and our family. Her social media posts, flaunting her court date outfits and boasting about her supposed strength, have been a painful reminder of her indifference throughout this ordeal. Her behavior has only deepened the scars she has inflicted. My son is a sweet, trusting, and sensitive kid who made one grave mistake by placing his trust in the wrong person. He is now struggling to navigate a colder and more hostile world. The joy of high school, the excitement of friendships, and the simple pleasures of youthful experiences have all been taken from him. He is left with no friends, no confidence, and only a hollow shell of the vibrant child he once was. As a family, we're working tirelessly to rebuild his confidence and restore the pieces of his shattered self. We hope to remind him of the kind, caring, and funny boy he once was. But that journey is daunting. It would have been meaningful to see some genuine remorse from Andy, to acknowledge the damage she has caused and the hurt she continues to perpetrate. Instead, we are left with the painful task of picking up the pieces and trying to mend his broken spirit. This statement conveys the deep impact Andy's actions have had on our lives and the challenge we face in helping our son heal. So I ask you this: why should she be shown any remorse? Why should she be granted freedom when we all have been and will continue to be imprisoned by the pain she caused? She is a calculated predator and should not be granted parole. Thank you for your understanding and consideration. The next letter reads like this. Dear board members, I am writing to you regarding the possible parole of Andy Rutherford. Andy Rutherford sexually assaulted my child. There is not enough time nor space to express the devastating impact her actions have had on my son, our family, and our community. Instead, I will be brief and concise. Andy Rutherford is a calculated predator and a threat to society. Her crime against my son was not a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a prolonged, calculated, patiently executed assault. This is a dangerous person. She has shown no remorse for her actions. Instead, she has displayed only flightless arrogance and utter disregard for the damage she has inflicted on others. I fully believe that any remorse she shows now is entirely artificial and only in her own self-interest. Andy Rutherford put us all in prison the night she assaulted my child. We will now be here forever. She should not serve a minute less than that generously lenient sentence she was given. To do so would be an injustice and an insult to my son, our family, and the justice system that she made work so hard to put her where she is. Thank you, board members. This is all that I have for this case.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Board Member Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Ms. Rutherford, in the documents I reviewed leading up to this, really did not show a lot of remorse and, was blaming really a lot of it. It's the victim. But today she came forward and I was happy to hear that she was able to express what she's learned in programming and how she feels remorse. She apologized to the community in general and some other good things. So I thought that was a positive. I was concerned though, however, well, that's where my question that I carefully worded. She still is blaming the victim and could not hold back from saying her belief that she believes the victim was extorting her. And that's something that I read several times, not from anyone else, but only from her. And I don't see any evidence of that, any of the documents, you know, that there was some kind of extortion taking place for money or there's just, you know, there's no facts that support that anywhere that I read. She did say that she didn't think it was the victim's fault. She took ownership, and I was glad to hear that. She says that she thought her sentence is fair, and I think I agree with her from the victims that this is not a lengthy sentence, you know. And she thinks it's a fair sentence. She's on a waiting list for some good programs, the New Thoughts program and the Voices program, and she, by her own words, recognized that. I think she could benefit from New Thoughts. And I think also the Voices program that specifically talks about what the victim experiencing is, you know. And then we heard from the victims' statements from their own words and how impactful that this has been on their family. So all that is a concern of mine, in addition to the fact that, you know, we place trust in school employees and teachers and police officers, nurses and firemen to a higher level than other people. And we send our children to these places with the hopes that they'll be safe and learn, and these kinds of things could never happen. But unfortunately it has. So for me today, I really believe that she could benefit from staying where she's at and continuing with her programming, completing the New Thoughts program and the Voices program. So I'm in denial for today based on the nature and circumstances and the injury and impact to the family. That's what I'm.
Board Member Keith.
I agree. I had inadequate evidence of offender change, nature and circumstance of the current offense. And I also could do injury or impact to the victim.
Okay, and are you in a place where you want to bring her back or no?
And I was listening, listening to her change. I do hear some things that she's gained from the program,
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know if it's a complete inadequate evidence of offender change for me.
Yeah, it's not for me.
I'm more concerned about the nature and circumstances of this.
Yeah.
And the injury and impact to the family. And I think that she could benefit from the additional programs.
So maybe it's an inadequate institutional program participation, because I think if she had taken Voices, I'm really excited for her to take. I think I'm hoping we'll have a profound impact.
I'm good with the nature and circumstances and injury and impact to the victim. But how do you, is that okay?
If that's something that they could work on while they're in there, is beneficial.
But she did take the sex offender program, so I don't want to take that away from her either.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. All right, regarding Andy Rosefort 450012, I move to deny parole based upon the nature and circumstances of the current offense and injury and impact to the victim and the victim's family. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Rosefort, we're not able to give you parole. We really hope that you make the best of the time that you have left in those programs that you really want to take, and we wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Andy Roseport and
Yeah, it's past. This one. Yeah, this one. Okay, yes, so yeah. She mentioned, yeah. Did they say who? No, they didn't. And if they call for someone else, yeah, we. I'll go next.
Good morning, my name is Parole Officer. Today is Friday, November 21st, 2025. This is well, following board members are present this morning, and by stating their name on the record, certify they reviewed all statutorily required documents available for information preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Poole.
Robert Sazowski.
Morning, Aileen Keys.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Christine Anthony, 364665.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application of Christine Anthony, inmate number 364665. She is serving a sentence of 8 years suspended after 3 years with 5 years probation for larceny second and identity theft third. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility of January 1st, 2026. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the offender has completed Youth Thoughts, Voices, and Tier 4. She is currently participating in the intensive aftercare program and has an outside clearance left. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment, order the offender's overall score for recidivism falls within the low range. Ms. Anthony, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe should be granted parole. You may begin.
Okay, I wrote it down. I'm nervous.
Sure, thank you.
So
Go ahead.
I stumble sometimes, so.
Okay.
Okay, first I want to take the opportunity to say thank you for seeing me. I've been working on myself for the past almost 15 months. The time flew by and I honestly wasn't expecting to come to the November hearing, so thank you. The crimes that brought me here, they were all avoidable. It took me coming here to be able to own up to them and to say they were all avoidable and to stop placing blame. In stressful situations, I did not ask for help. I was dishonest, stole, and self-medicated. My victims, my family, and my young son all paying the consequences. I feel awful and regretful for how I made my victims feel. If I could undo what I did to them, I would. My son was born in 2022, which was after my crimes and before my sentencing. Becoming a mother was the most life-changing event for me. It was the most natural thing I've ever done. Providing for every aspect of life for my son's needs became the most comforting and important part of my life. Knowing that there would be a day where I would leave him to come here, I knew that I had to make every change and work on myself to the fullest. So after this, I wouldn't ever be doing this again, and I wouldn't ever be leaving him again. That taught me the meaning and importance of accountability. In regard to my son being young with me in prison, the judge that sentenced me, Judge Keegan, she told me a story, which makes me emotional, so I'm just going to leave it at story. She told me a story and a few other things when I was sentenced, and it totally shaped and changed how I wanted and would do my time. I'll never forget the things she said, and I'm forever grateful for that. Being in the Tier 4 Marilyn Baker program was not easy for me at first. It was intense and emotional, but that program really works. I learned and started living with core values, honesty, integrity, rationale, and the most gratitude for life and my family. I know that I will never stray from those again. I've learned that the things I struggled with, I will always be in recovery from. I've learned to sit with bad days and to be okay, and healthy coping skills for future stressful situations and decision making. I have a solid plan for when I leave here that includes my therapist, Kyle White, work, CCAR. I did the CCAR recovery coach certification program, and I didn't realize how much I really enjoyed doing that and helping and connecting with people. That was a huge part of my recovery, and I plan to stay involved with that. I also plan to stay involved with Defy Ventures, which was a class here that I took, and I loved that. That really showed me the importance of doing things that are not self-serving. When that's a business class, essentially, and when I went into that program, we all had these business ideas, but as we kind of changed them to fit the Defy parameters, they all became they all had a purpose in society, and that was so important for me, and I loved that class. I'm so thankful for that. And then knowing that I can go home and volunteer with them, that I'm so excited for that. I have the most amazing family and support system, which is part of my plan for going home. My partner, Eric, my parents, Eric's parents, they have all been here for me and for us and for my young son. Eric's parents, they have never missed a visit on Mondays unless it was for a holiday. I'm so fortunate to have them. Being a mentor in the Marilyn Baker program taught me the importance of being kind and always being a role model, even when no one is looking, which is how I will live for my remaining time here and when I leave here. This will not change whether I'm granted parole or not. Whenever the time is, I'm so looking forward to getting home to my son, Eric, and our home. This time I'll be leaving with a much less self-serving purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very good statement. And there was a lot in there. So what we're gonna do is we took a look at your background, what brought you here, your interview with the parole officer and such. And based upon that, we have some questions.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna talk about your case and give you a decision, okay?
Okay.
So the offense itself, when I read it, it's you probably learned something about that in Marilyn Baker, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Learned about the events.
Yeah, what was going on?
So I was stealing money. The part about that I talked about in Marilyn Baker was being honest. Okay, so I guess what triggered it was I was not honest. When I needed help, there was no talking or reaching out or any honesty about it. And it was a situation where one time stealing led to another, one lie led to another, and I just was not owning up to it. Wasn't reaching out for help. I would do things to reach out for help, but just to check it off my list. I would get a therapist and I wouldn't talk to her about it. I just couldn't get myself, I guess, to humble myself and to realize that talking about things and being honest, that's actually the first step to get myself out of those situations. And in the Marilyn Baker program, like when you first go into it, it's in stages, right? When you first go into it, sitting in groups with people, that it's hard. I couldn't even talk about it at first then. Even then I couldn't talk about it. But as you slowly go through the program and you find other people that you relate to, that's one of the things that helped me. And then another part of the program is we have to go to 3 fellowship meetings a week, right? NA, there's a bunch of different ones. Yep. And I started to gravitate towards ones with other women that I could relate to. And that's why meetings work, right? You get together with a bunch of people that have the same issues. And so talking about it and being honest about it, I was able to get to the point where I was like, okay, this is really help. I can't do this anymore. I have to stay involved. When I leave here, I think like the biggest light bulb in the program was realizing that I cannot not be involved with this when I go home. I don't know if I strayed too far from the question. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I mean, that's where we're trying to address what you did and you did. that's why I brought up the Marilyn Baker program. It's like
Yeah.
going through that and not being able to be caught in that, right? And not being able
Yeah.
to do anything but try to manage that whole thing yourself, right?
Right,
You know, and Marilyn Baker taught you don't need to do that,
right.
right? And I can tell you that meetings on the outside, you'll find, you know, like what you're just saying, you'll find women's meetings that are, you know, it's a sisterhood like you have there in Marilyn Baker.
Yeah.
You know, so that would be very good for you to connect with. You know?
Mhm.
So I'm really happy about the programming that you've taken. There's no disciplinary reports. You know, there's a limited, you know, a limited criminal history. There are a couple of things there, but you know, you have a good education behind you. You know, and you talked about CCAR.
Yeah,
So you went through the Recovery Coach Academy.
yep.
And when you're talking about coaching, what do you think when you're dealing with your recovery plan? What does that look like?
So my recovery plan, one of the first things is the meetings, right? Like I have to stay involved. I love the All Recovery meetings and
Yep.
the Codependence Anonymous meetings. All Recovery, I just hear in the program, the women that go to that and chairing the meetings, I really connected with that. So I want to start going to that. And All Recovery started with CCAR. There is a CCAR that's close to my house. There's 2 in each direction. So I would like to get involved with CCAR. I would like to have a recovery coach, and I do want to start volunteering there. That's a huge part of my plan, and making sure that that comes first. Those things coming first was a big lesson for me here.
And that's big with what you just said. It's like, how often do we hear, yeah, I want to be a recovery coach. You said something really important, and that is that you need a recovery coach.
Yeah, I do. And I didn't realize that until like recently, like needing one. I always wanted to volunteer there. I loved the class. I loved like learning to be open-minded and learning that I might not agree with what somebody's saying, but I can just be okay listening and getting them to learn things on their own and getting myself to learn things on my own. But recently, like with this coming up, I was like, I really need that person to reach out to for myself.
That's big. That's a lifeline. It really is a lifeline for you. And that's an important thing. And the way you described it as well, in terms of being able to help, you know, it's like you need to help yourself first, which is what you said, you know, in terms of the recovery coach and meetings and stuff like that. But a big part of recovery is being able to be there for other people as well. So, and I'm really glad that you wound up being a mentor in the Marilyn Baker program. That's got to feel good, right?
It does. There's so many lessons behind it. Like I didn't realize that when I got chosen for that, but the lessons behind it were amazing, especially having integrity, the community living part, like how one thing affects all of us, how we should be treating each other, and just really just being kind, being there to listen, being present in the moment. Like in CCAR and in the mentor program, I didn't know what active listening was. I had no idea. Like you could be talking to me and my mind would be in 10 different places, and I would just want to be out of that conversation. But learning active listening, that was one of the best things, like really just clearing your mind, being present, listening to someone, not thinking about your response that was next. That was huge. And I'm so happy to do it. Like, and it also, there's 80 people in the building. It's nice to be able to talk to it's nice to be able to, for somebody to say that you're approachable for me to talk to, because that was not my behavior at home. So it's nice to be able to be involved with that.
It's hard to be approachable when you're caught in your own stuff.
It is, and then it's like active list. I didn't even know what that was. Like I learned that in CCAR. So
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy that you've done what you've done, and I'm glad that you have the support in the community that you have. And I really do wish you well.
thank you.
Board Member Keys, anything?
Just real quick, you have outside clearance job. What do you do for work there?
I started working at the horse stables in May. We had 16 horses at one point that the Department of Agriculture seized. And then at the end of June, they went back to where they were seized from. Unfortunately, one horse that has always been here apparently remains. So I go to the stables to take care of her on Saturdays, and then I do grounds the other days during the week. So we just take care of the grounds. We clean the buildings, and this week we were doing leaf cleanup.
Like all of us, okay, yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you. I
everybody
appreciate that.
is.
That's great. I think that's great. It says, it suggests a level of trust that the facility has in you, and so I was happy to see that. And then you had mentioned a prior employer that you believe you can return to. You remained in contact with them? Do you believe you can return to that prior employer? Is that still true?
Yes, I do believe I can. Hopefully, I'm gonna get on that when I get home.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Thank you for answering our questions. Thank you, Sir Chair.
Thank you.
Board Member Sosowski, something?
Yeah, just really quick. Good morning. So you completed the Voices program, right? We really haven't talked about that.
Yes.
All right. It's clear that there were some victims of, the crime, the loss of money, but did you learn anything about other people who in this situation have become victims of what happened? You understand the ripple effects? That's what I just want to hear about a little bit more. What's happened to other people in your world?
That was something that, so Voices talked about that. Like they use examples of like if you're, and that class made me think of that, right? They used an example of when somebody's car was stolen and like in the ripple effect that it had, like that person could not get to work. That person then lost this, and that. And it's like that really made me think of the ripple effect. And I immediately just think of my family, everything that they are doing for me. Eric and I, we live in one town, and all of our family pretty much lives an hour away from us. And they are all at one point at our house for my son and for him 2 days a week. My mom has taken off work. Eric's parents work so much, and they're at our house 2 days a week. Eric has a very labor-intensive, demanding business, and he's now doing everything at our house. The ripple effect was intense. And then I'm not there participating financially. That's a lot. But the part that like really hits me is like they don't complain about it. They just do it, right? It's just unconditional for them.
Yeah, so when you go out, you have to remember these kinds of things. Your behavior is not just, you took some money from the person's lost the money. It goes way beyond that. And it's very impactful on all these other people in your life. So when you make decisions, you really have to think in advance, you know what I mean, going forward.
Right.
Because you turned everyone's world upside down in your whole circle by being involved.
Yeah.
It's not just your employer who lost all this money. So that's all I had. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure you understood.
Yeah.
The impact these things have on your family, your boyfriend, his parents, all of these people, Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Sosowski. So where I am is that I think Ms. Anthony has done some really good work while she's been in. She hasn't received any disciplinary reports. She's taken part in a really solid program. She's trusted at the facility with outside clearance. She She's recognized in Maryland Baker program to the point where they made her a mentor. She has good support in the community, the potential to go to employment that will help her, a solid recovery plan that will help her as she goes back out into the community and does the right thing. So I would support parole in this case.
I would as well. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. And what I had was I actually had standard parole conditions.
I did too.
And perfect. So regarding Christine Anthony, 364665, I moved to grant parole on or after January 1st, 2026 with standard parole conditions. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Ms. Anthony, we have granted you parole and we have a lot of faith that you're going to go out there and do the right thing. All right?
Thank you.
Best
So
of luck.
Thank you
You
so
have-
much.
you have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
This concludes here. Inmate number 3646.
Yeah.
Morning.
Is it Barnum?
We'll be with you in 1 second.
Barnum.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyce. Today it's Friday, November 21st, 2025. This is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. The following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certify they've reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Robert Sazowskis.
Good morning, Elaine Keys.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Carrie Barnum, inmate number 293651.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Carrie Barnum, inmate number 293651. She is serving a sentence of 3 years for possession with intent. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of September 11th, 2025. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the offender has completed tier 2. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment, where the offender's overall score for incident falls in the medium range. Ms. Barnum, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I'm writing this letter to express my sincere remorse for my actions and respectfully request your consideration for parole. I take full responsibility for the crime I committed, which was sales of narcotics. I deeply regret the harm I've caused to the victims in the community. And I've spent my time incarcerated reflecting on my poor choices and my changes I need to make. To ensure I never repeat these actions, during my time unsentenced, I worked as a laundry worker. I took groups for coping skills, anger management, and art therapy. I also graduated Tier 2 successfully, and I'm also in grief and loss group and in school for business. These programs have provided me with the skills and self-awareness necessary to manage my behavior and make positive choices upon my release. I have been ticket-free since July of 2024. I received 1 ticket. I have a solid plan to ensure my successful reintegration into society. I will do any programs the parole deems necessary, committing myself to self-help groups, outpatient programs, and anything to improve my well-being. I will also be actively engaged in a strong support network, including my family, my sponsor, and a healthy living arrangement. I believe I have demonstrated true change and am prepared to be a productive law-abiding member of society. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Barnum. What we're gonna do is we've read about your background, what you've accomplished during this incarceration, your interview with the parole officer. And based
Okay.
upon that, we have some questions for you. We're
Yes,
gonna take turns asking those questions, then we're gonna talk about your case and give you a decision, okay?
okay.
And we're gonna start the questions this morning with Board Member Keys.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Thank you for your opening statement. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, it was a little fast though, and I'm trying to take notes because I don't want to miss anything important that you say. And so if you don't mind, you said that while you were unsentenced, you listed a few courses. One was art therapy, but I missed the rest. Do you mind?
Coping skills and anger management.
Thank you. All right, I didn't want to miss those because those are very important
Yes.
programs. Do you want to tell us, and then as you said, you completed tier 2 now.
Yes.
And are doing the grief and loss group. Can you talk about, I guess with the programming you've taken, what are some of the ways you think they've impacted you that you think will help you when you're returned to the community?
I've learned ways to identify my relapse and relapse prevention, how to deal with situations going on that are beyond my control. I've also learned a little more about myself and how to maintain my self-awareness of things and the people around me, and just being better at knowing myself.
Good. And let's see it. Do you plan, I know I took notes on it, but do you plan on engaging with a counselor or someone when you return to the community so you can continue that type of self-worth?
I want to do therapy. I plan to participate in outpatient. I want to do self-help groups as Narcotics Anonymous. Also the women's, I can't recall the name of it, but it's a women's sobriety program, self-help program.
Okay, great. Great. Have you looked into, I know you have a sponsor in the community with a friend, and I do believe he confirmed, look at my notes, but have you looked at where programs might be around that area that you could access?
I have a friend who he's looking into it for me. I've never been to that area. Like, I'm going completely away from where my stomping grounds are because I want to change my life. So as soon as I can get out or have him look into it, I believe there's programs in Middletown, and I'm not sure, maybe Saybrook.
Okay.
Old Saybrook, yeah.
Okay. Do you have, excuse me, and we're fighting some colds, so if my voice gets a little funky, I think I'm all right though.
No problem.
Transportation, do you know how you'll be able to get around, Mr. Holmes?
My sponsor, he said he would give me rides, and I'm also going to see if I could get my license reinstated.
Great. And you haven't looked into that yet, but you're hoping you can get it reinstated.
Yeah. Plus I heard from because I believe the parole board, parole where I'll be visiting will be in New Haven, that there's a train that runs from Clinton to New Haven.
Great.
So,
That will be very helpful because, yeah, even if you can't find programs closer, certainly there are programs in New Haven.
in New Haven. Plus I know they have the places that you can go that will help you connect you with jobs. So I believe that will be an asset for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Your friend that you're returning to, how long have you known them? And, I want to make sure this is, a solid,
I've known him for about, I'm going to say like a little less than a year. We know each other through a friend.
Okay. So I want to say, it's wonderful that he's offering to do this and he has confirmed and you guys have really thought about it and it's great. If it turns out that living with somebody that you don't know that well is not working out, and it's causing strain, or, anything starts to happen, approaching your parole officer, because I think if we were to grant, I have no idea what we're doing yet, but we could maybe put a halfway house as needed, or someone could come back to us and they could give you a home. So I don't want you to ever compromise yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do have, my mother has some money put away in case, so that I could go to a sober house. I also might be able to go with my daughter. Right now she just has a studio apartment, so there's just not enough room, but she said if I need to, that she will, look for another apartment.
Okay, great. Sorry, I just want to write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think sometimes people are afraid to approach their parole officer if things aren't going well and they want to put on this rosy picture, but the parole officer can help, and I don't want you to stay in a situation that maybe isn't, and I'm hoping it works out.
Yeah.
But, okay.
No, I've already thought about this. That's why I've talked to my mother, about having some money set aside in case something does happen.
That's wonderful. I'm very happy you have that support and that your mom is in a place where she can do that too. So, I do want to talk about how you kind of got here a little bit, just because I want to make sure that we have enough supports for you in the community moving forward. You had been sober, you had said, for over 3 years. And then unfortunately, and I'm so sorry about this, but then you did suffer the loss of a very close loved one. And that we do see a lot that tends to set people back. You were at that time going to meetings and engaging in counseling. So what makes you feel confident, or what things do you want to put in place so that, because bad things will happen. So what do you want to put in place this time that should hopefully prevent you from relapsing again?
Well, that's why I'm changing my people's places and things. I also want to try to start over. I want to move away. Like, I don't want to go back to work because I know if I went back to where I have a greater chance of messing up. I've seen a therapist so that I can work this out with the grief, and that's why I'm taking the grief and loss group, so I can prepare myself and to learn how to recover from my loss.
Great. That's great. And I don't know if you'd be able to find a grief group in the community, but you may be able to, and maybe that would be helpful too, but certainly could work on it with a counselor as well.
Yes.
Let's see. Do you have a sponsor currently who's in sobriety who you can call if you're feeling tempted?
Yes, her name is Trish Rios.
Okay. And you were connected with her before, or did you connect with her while you were in the time? Okay.
I've known her for like a good 10, 15 years. When I was living in a sober house in 2019, she was my sponsor.
Great.
And that's how I met her. Well, I've known her from the streets, like back in the day, and then she got herself clean, and she's very big in recovery. Was running the sober house. So that's who I'm connected with.
That's great. I would imagine it's wonderful to see somebody that you knew from the streets and seeing
Yeah.
how they've been able to do it and stuff, and she's not gonna judge, and she's not gonna, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
assuming, I don't mean to speak about her, but.
Yeah, no, she's definitely somebody good to talk to. You know, she's completely changed her life around, like does engagements with, you know, the law enforcement and speaking with them to try to, you know, help out addiction and stuff.
I think you've actually already answered all of my questions, so I'm gonna pass it up to my colleagues, but thank you very much for the conversation. Thank you, Sir Chair.
Thank you.
Board Member Selasky?
Yeah, so just a couple things. Your co-defendant, Vincent Harrison, are you still in contact with him?
No,
Is that anybody that's gonna be part of your life in the future?
no. We haven't talked since my one ticket was because me and him talked back in 2024.
Why did
Yeah.
you feel like, why did you feel the need to talk to him while you were incarcerated? What was? It's
Because
unusual.
he was my boyfriend and
Okay, all right, so I
Yeah.
understand, but that relationship, you're telling us today that relationship is over.
yes.
You have no
We've
children,
ended it.
you have no children with him?
No,
All right, the other thing was that it looks like you were convicted of reckless driving at the same time as all this other stuff, right?
yeah.
So was Go ahead.
Due to my addiction, I'm on seizure medication. I was in the hospital for a week. I had 6 seizures in one day, and I didn't know that once I started taking the seizure medication, that if I didn't take it, I would have seizures again. And that is why I had the reckless driving.
All right, but that wasn't involved in this drug case. That wasn't it wasn't the
No.
same day. It wasn't.
No.
Okay. And the status of your driver's license now is what?
It's suspended. I had to see a neurologist. I had an appointment for June of 2024. But I wasn't able to go. So I need to see the neurologist. They got to do, I guess, some tests to see if I had any seizure sense.
Okay, so there's
I
some
have-
things you need to, you don't have to go, I don't want your medical history
Yeah.
broadcasted live
Okay.
streaming, but there are some things that you need to take care of to get your driver's license straightened out, right? Is that fair to say? Okay.
Yes,
All right, that's all I have, ma'am. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Selasky. Board Member Keys?
Okay, so we're gonna deliberate now. So, I think Ms. Barnum has done well. You know, at first I thought maybe a little more time just because her, this was just last year. However, I think she's done well, and she presented well today. She, has a flat sentence, which I don't like. I definitely want her to have support as she transitions and creates her own new life out in the community and she's starting fresh in a new environment. I really would like her to have that support the remainder of her sentence. But yeah, she's done well. She completed her programs, 1 DR, which was, she said, last year, over a year ago. And to me, that's relatively minor. Certainly, she deserved it, but it's relatively minor, not violent. So I have her granted today.
Board Member Selasky?
Yeah, I agree. You know, I do have a little apprehension about this housing situation, as my colleague alluded to, so I would be in support of adding a halfway house placement if needed, just, you know, and also the,
Operation Mode.
yeah, and a no contact with this, person that it seems to be a negative influence, in my opinion, in her life, you know? So, but I am in favor of this.
Do we have just those three?
I wish I had no alcohol, no contact with the defendant, halfway house placement, and no driving without PO permission. I don't know if that's necessary because she has to work that out anyway, so maybe we don't put the no driving. Sounds like was a medical issue and.
Well, that would make sense, but the alcohol, was there alcohol involved?
No, in the 20 or early 20s, alcohol was a big issue, but then you stopped, so,
I think that this current problem though, was related to.
Other, yeah,
illegal
yeah.
Substances.
Yeah.
Not-
okay, we can leave that out. Yeah, it was just, okay. that was
I mean, she did get convicted of, a driving offense as part.
Yeah.
of
Thanks, but,
So those three,
okay, yep,
halfway house, operation, codependent.
yep,
That's what I'm comfortable with, yes.
All right, regarding Carrie Barnum, 293651, I move to grant parole on or after November 21st, 2025, with the following stipulations: halfway house placement If necessary, no operation of motor vehicle without parole officer's permission and no contact with co-defendant Vincent Harrison. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Ms. Barnum, we've voted you to parole, and
Thank you so much.
your conditions will be explained to you prior to your release.
Okay.
We use today's date because your date has passed. However,
Okay.
it won't be today. Parole's got to get, so they'll take care of all of that for you, okay?
Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Jerry Barnum, and number 3651. My name is Parole Officer Boyce. Today is Friday, November 21st, 2025. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Parole. Following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certified and reviewed all statutorily required documents available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Robert Sisowskis.
Aileen Keys, good morning.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Good morning. My name is Maria Pacheco, 337-237.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Maria Pacheco, inmate 337-237. She is serving a sentence of 6 years with 4-year special parole for assault first in violation of probation with burglary versus the underlying offense. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of December 17, 2025. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows the offender's completed voices and is currently in tier 2. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Order, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Pacheco, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I wrote a little something. I would like to thank you for granting me the opportunity to stand before you today and speak on my behalf. I want to start off by taking full responsibilities for my actions that led me into my incarceration. I want to take the time to apologize to my victim and her family, as well as my family and my community, for the pain and suffering that they've endured. I have served 5 years of 6-year sentence in prison due to my poor choices I made back in 2020. During my time here at YCI, I used my time efficiently. I took advantage of programs and successfully completed them. I worked really hard on myself with my trauma, my childhood past, and everything else. I wouldn't be here where I am now mentally if I didn't sit with my thoughts and assess my behavior. Today, I can say I have changed so much, but only for the better. I know parole is a privilege and not a guarantee, but I hope to be given the opportunity to show my resilience. I hold myself accountable for my reckless behaviors and my past mistakes. I hope that they don't define me today as a person. Please allow me the chance to show you that I am not the same person I came in as. Today, I have the tools and skills to stay sober, maintain healthy relationships, and become a productive member of my society where I can thrive and achieve my goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pacheco. So we've read about your background, what you've accomplished since you've been inside, your interview with the parole officer. And based upon that, we have some questions for you. We're going to take turns asking those questions, and we're going to talk about your case and give you a decision, okay? All right, and we're going to start questions this morning with Board Member Suzowski.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your opening statement, and I appreciate your apology to the victim and the victim's family and your own family and the community as a whole. Those are important things to put out there right in the beginning, so I'm glad you did that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go back and talk about what happened. So, reading through the documents, your explanation of what happened and some other reports, there's a couple of things that are unclear to me. So the conviction indicates that you cut the victim with a box cutter. There's also some mention that you had a knife in your hand at the time of the incident. But in your interview with the parole officer, you said that you hit your friend with some keys and it caused these injuries. So I'm just trying to clear up what transpired. How did the victim get injured?
Okay, so we had gotten into an altercation. I was in my car and we were smoking and.
Now you were smoking PCP. When you say smoking, I'm just assuming
Yes.
that. So tell me what, okay.
Yes, it was PCP at the time. And in my keys, I had it's like a tool, but it's like sharp. It wasn't a knife, it wasn't a box cutter, but it had like a pointy, sharp tool on my keys. And we got into an argument. I was injured at the time, and she crawled on top of me from the back of my vehicle, excuse me, and she ended up squishing my leg, which it was out of commission at the time. And we got into an altercation. My leg managed to go under the car while we were fighting. And for me to take her off of me, all I had in my hands was the keys with the tool. And the tool I used to open my blunts and,
okay.
It's a pretty sharp tool.
Okay.
And as me wrestling with her and trying to take her off of me, I end up using that. And that's what ended up injuring her face.
Okay. So, that's just the fourth different thing now. I read a box cutter, a knife, keys, and now a tool. So let me ask you this, because it almost sounds like in your description that you were claiming when you spoke to the parole officer that this was like an accident, but everything else sounds like it was like you intentionally assaulted the person because you were fighting with the object. Do you consider this to be an accident?
It was an accident. Yes, it was.
Okay. You know that the charges you're convicted of, that's not related to assault first is not related to an accident. That's an intentional physical assault of someone. You understand there's a difference between those two?
Yes, and I'm not proud of what I did because I didn't just hurt myself in the process. I hurt her and her family. And that's something that I've been living with full regret.
Okay. Thank you for clearing some of that up for me. And you talked about the regret and, you apologized to the victim. You completed the Voices program, right?
Yes, Tier 2 as well. I graduated Wednesday.
Let's talk more about the Voices program because that had to do with victims, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think your actions have affected the victim? Like what kind of things do you think are they experiencing since this is all happening?
I know it's a ripple effect of my behavior towards her and her family. I'm pretty sure she's scared and was horrified. It was not something that I can say I'm proud of doing. I think that it just didn't affect her, affected her family, her kids. And I hurt somebody, and that's something that I have to deal with. I'm not proud of myself for that person. I affected her in so many ways, and I could just imagine, put myself in her shoes.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it.
Mhm.
But I think I've used my time here to work on me so that I can be better.
Okay. Do you think that this would have happened if you guys had not been, if you had been sober, if all of you had not been using PCP? Do you think this would happen?
I think if I wasn't smoking, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. You know, people do things sometimes that they know, might not do otherwise, You received 2 disciplinary reports. The last one was in June of this year, not long ago. So that's concerning for us because we want to see a longer period of change and staying out of trouble so we can have evidence of how you've changed, It was for interfering with safety and security. Can you tell us what happened?
So I'm in the dorms, and in the dorms you have to be in your bunk and not in the hallway. So I was out of trouble for 4.5 years. I was doing Defy. I was being a good role model, and I ended up going to the bathroom, and I sat in the hallway, and I started talking to one of my bunkmates in front of me, and the CO called the code because it's interfering with safety and security. You can't be out of your bunk between the hours of 12 to 1, and counted and cleared. So he called a code on me, and I ended up going to SEC, losing my Defy, losing my spot at the dorms, and I took full responsibility for it because I shouldn't have been in the hallway.
Okay. And you talked about tier 2 a little bit. Can you tell us some other things that you learned that you can use when you get into the community so that way you can stay sober?
Yes, so I plan to get a sponsor and go to CCAR meetings. I have my biggest supporters, which is my dad. He's been there for me. I also want to enroll back in school and therapy. I feel that being in tier 2 has opened a lot of can of worms, working on my childhood and how to express my anger, self-control, and personal growth. But I still feel the need that I need to continue to work on myself, because me losing my sister has opened my eyes to just wanting to be better and giving back to my community for what I've done. So I think that me seeking for more help is valid today than when I first got in here, that I thought that asking for help was me being weak, but today being in tier 2 and living in balance has helped me not just better myself, but wanting to make more moves for me to be a better woman.
Okay. All right, well, that was helpful. You're asking to go to a halfway house, right? And like you said just now, you want to work on getting your GED and get a job, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you talked to the victim at all since any of this happened?
Well, she was here recently, and I was attending school at the time, and I had stopped her in the hallway or at the school, and genuinely and sincerely I apologized, but I know at the time I was expecting her not to accept my apology because I hurt her.
Yeah, it's pretty serious injuries from what I read, What did the victim say?
She just stared at me and she didn't say nothing.
You were friends with this person for a long time or no?
We were friends for like 2 years, yeah.
And when all this happened, you were already on probation, right?
Yes,
So were they drug testing you while you were on probation?
yes.
What was happening?
And I was giving clean urines into that incident.
But you were using PCP.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for answering my questions and see what my colleagues have to say, and then we're gonna go from there. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Board Member
Thank you.
Sadowski. Board Member Keys.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm reviewing, I had a whole lot of questions in, but my colleague asked many of them, so. You completed the biohazard cleanup program and the culinary arts programs. Are you looking to do either of those as employment when you release?
Yes, I like cooking.
You like cooking? And you had started the parenting program, but after a week you were discharged without prejudice. Can you explain what happened there?
My sister got into a car accident and she died, and that's basically who raised me. And I went into a really bad depression, and it took a lot of the COs and everything to work with me to get out of it. And I just wasn't in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
going to the funeral by myself and viewing her did a number in me.
Why did that happen? Happy to hear. It sounds like despite being where you are, you had some support. So in an unlikely place. So, and hopefully you were able to go through it sober, process it. You know, so it'd be good skills, learn to process grief and depression and devastation sober, and hopefully as things happen in your life moving forward, you'll be able to replicate those strategies.
That's one of the reasons. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons when I go home, I want to go back to therapy because it's needed.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that's all I have. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you answering our questions. Thank you, Sir Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Pacheco, I just had really one question. So I looked at your substance use and, I heard you talk about CCAR and CCAR meetings, but when you were asked about your recovery plan, you said that you wanted to go to Al-Anon.
Yeah.
I go to Al-Anon here as well.
Okay, so is the Al-Anon because of family members?
A big part of them.
Okay.
The majority, the work that we do there, what we read, what we share. Like, I'm just not alone. I know today
Okay.
I'm not alone.
So you've lived with addiction, right?
Yes.
From
Yes.
others in the family, okay? And,
Yes.
but you're stating when you're going to CCAR meetings, all recovery meetings, that type of thing, you're going because of your own addiction?
I'm going for my own addiction.
Okay. So there's
I
no
wanna
question, I
maintain-
mean,
I want to
Go ahead.
maintain sober.
okay. Because the PCP, it's like nothing good ever happened on PCP. Ever.
I'm living by.
Right. No, and that's the thing. It's like, if, getting out into the community and staying out there is really about making sure that you have the things in place so that you can be successful.
Mhm.
So
You're right.
I'm glad that you're dealing with both. They say out here, I guess that's a double winner.
I'm trying my hardest.
That's what they call that. Go to Al-Anon and a program yourself. That's a double winner,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
I don't have anything further. Board Member Sadowski.
Okay, So, we're gonna talk about your case now, and then we'll give you an answer in a minute, okay?
Okay.
So, Mr. Shepherd's here for a very serious assault first. This took place while she was on probation for burglary first, not concerning charge. She sounded pretty good today. She's at medium risk. She's taken tier 2 invoices and some other programs, culinary, biohazard, like, her plan is to go to a halfway house. She wants to get her GED, and so she has some pretty good foresight about how she wants her future to be. But I hear from her when we're talking to her that she's like a work in progress. She's still trying to sort out some of the things.
Yep.
We are only talking about, looks like 6 months according to my records.
Yep.
She's gonna be out, next year and does have forms of, special parole to follow. I don't want to take away from anything she's done because I hear a lot of good things about Al-Anon and CCAR.
Yep.
And recognizing what she needs to be sober, and she wants to be sober. She understands that a lot of these things probably would not have happened if she was sober, you know?
Right.
So for me, just it's the nature and circumstances. I wasn't happy about this ticket to poor institutional adjustment, and then this current offense was committed on probation. That I was not in favor of discretionary parole today. She has been approved for a halfway house by DOC, so that's another area she can explore.
I agree. I think she's done well. I like what I'm hearing, but I would like her to continue to have the support of the environment she's in while she's navigating these things, and then she'll be out about June next year anyway. So yeah.
So it looks like she's on a special protocol, so we'll have to talk about.
So no alcohol, because that was part of the offense, halfway house, mental health evaluation and treatment, and no contact with TS.
I had a JM that's from the underlying offense.
Yeah.
So that's the VOP, right?
Yeah.
So that's a general no contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JM. And then how do you feel about anger management?
That's a good idea.
And she stabbed this person pretty good.
Yeah, I was thinking, I actually
Therapy.
put some thought into that, where it's like with the mental health evaluation and treatment,
Mm.
I think they're gonna point out like
Okay.
what she might benefit from.
Excuse me.
I'm fine with that. That makes sense.
Right?
I mean, my concern is that, her criminal history does have even though it was a while ago, there's a previous assault,
Right.
Yeah,
So the third, yeah.
yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's-
All right. So nature and circumstance, current offense committed while on probation and for institutional adjustment.
Sure.
No alcohol, halfway house, mental health evaluation, treatment is deemed necessary, no contact with victim, TS, and general no contact with JM.
I actually didn't have alcohol on this one, which is funny, but did you have alcohol as well? You did not?
It's okay, no,
I
I just heard her
Not seeing
talking.
it, but
Did it?
she did talk about it, okay.
I thought the alcohol was within, it's in the description of the,
Oh, the drinking and smoking?
that's what,
I think maybe the victim said. Oh, yeah, Patron.
Patron.
Okay.
Okay. She's talking about.
Okay.
yeah, no, I think she'll do well when she gets out.
Yeah.
So regarding Marilise Pacheco, 337237, I move to deny parole based upon the nature and circumstances of the current offense being committed while on probation and for institutional adjustment, and further to set the following special parole conditions: no alcohol consumption, halfway house placement if necessary, mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary, no contact with victim, TS, and a general no contact with JM. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Checo, so we weren't able to give you parole, but we did notice you're also approved for community release through DOC, right? So that our action doesn't affect that at all. And then we set the special parole conditions for you. Okay? We all recognize the positive path that you're on. and really encourage you to stay on that positive path. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, 17. Morning, my name is Parole Officer Boyce. Today is Friday, November 21st, 2025. It's preparing to thank the board parties of parole. Board members are present this morning. If I state the names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information and preparation. Hearing.
Good morning, Mike Paul.
Robert Sazowskis.
Ryan Linkies.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Good morning. I'm Nashali Rodriguez, 435361.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Nashali Rodriguez, inmate number 435361. She's serving a sentence of 10 years suspended after 5 years and 5 years probation for attempted larceny second and attempted assault first. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility of November 23rd, 2025. There is no been put in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed. Shows the offender's completed voices, tier 2, beyond violence, anger management, good intentions, bad choices, and has a job. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment order, the offender's overall score for recidivating fall within the moderate range. Ms. Rodriguez, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I believe I should be granted parole because I have shown consistent good behavior, completed my programs, developed a responsible plan for life after release. I am committed to complying with all parole conditions, staying accountable, and contributing positively to my community. I am ready to take responsibility and move forward with my life.
All set?
And I want to read my letter if it's okay
Oh,
with y'all.
yes, please do. Yes, please do.
Thank you. My name is Natalie Rodriguez. I am writing this letter to respectfully request consideration for parole. I want to start by expressing my deepest remorse to my victims and their family. I am truly sorry for the harm I caused and the pain, hurt, and fear I have inflicted. I take full accountability for my actions and understand what I could have done to prevent these situations. I sincerely admit to my wrongdoings and the impact they have had on others. I know shooting and carjacking car with my victims in it wasn't okay at all. I understand the outcome could have been much worse, and I'm very disappointed at my action and mad at myself because I know I could have handled the situation in a different and better way. If I could go back and do things different, I would. During my time incarcerated, I had made significant effort to better myself. I earned my high school diploma, competed actively in all my OP group section, and engaged in additional programs designed to foster personal growth. I am currently involved in the work program, Women Overcome Recidivism Through Hard Work, which helps girls prepare for outside of incarceration. They have several different group opportunities for self-help and assistance in positive patterns of behavior. These experiences have helped me develop a stronger sense of responsibility. self-awareness, and self-control. I have the ability to pay the community back by teaching and showing younger adults better ways of handling situations and living positivity. Successful life. I do plan to do so when given the chance. I am also proud to say I have never received a discipline during my entire incarceration. I currently get off-ground approval, which allowed me to be employed at Pursuit Aerospace in Plainsville, CT. I am one of the 4 people that were chosen. I have maintained this job while incarcerated for what is now 7 months. I am confident I can continue working there upon my release, which will allow me to support myself and my family. My primary goals are to stay on a positive path, continue my personal development, and be a responsible and contributing member of my community. I have strong support from my family who are committed to helping me stay on the right path. Their support is a valuable part of my succeed and remain accountable. If granted parole, I plan to focus on staying committed to my employment and furthering my education and giving back to others through my experiences. I am dedicated to making amends and proving myself and ensuring that I do not repeat my past mistakes. Thank you for your time and consideration. I am hopeful for the opportunity to demonstrate that I am ready to re-enter society as a responsible and accountable individual. Sincerely, and I'll try to guard this.
Thank you very much for your statement.
You're welcome.
Your letter. What we're gonna do is, we've read about your background, what you've done to get yourself here and what you've done since you've been in. And your interview with the parole officer. And based upon that, we're gonna ask you some questions. And then we're gonna talk about your case and give you a decision, okay?
Okay.
So the striking thing here is there's no criminal history. And you wind up shooting out of a car and then, attempt to commit a carjacking.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we go from nothing to doing things that are incredibly disturbing and unsafe?
Because I did what I did. I was young at the time, making poor choices that I'm not proud of. And I take full accountability for what I did. And I know it wasn't okay. And I do sincerely feel sorry. And I am remorseful for what I did to my victims.
So where was it that you came to that that this was just wrong?
Like when I lost my grandpa 2 years ago, and I came to jail, and realizing and doing my groups as well, like voices and good intention bad choices, it really opened my mindset on how I did things and how I tried to harm somebody and put their life in danger. And I opened up about everything, and I'm vulnerable now. And I realized what I did wasn't okay. And I know that it could have been worse. And I take accountability for that.
Could have been so worse that we wouldn't have been able to have a parole hearing.
Yeah. And I take accountability for that, and I do sincerely apologize to my victims if they're watching me.
I believe that. I just, it's like looking at what could have happened is incredibly important,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've taken some really good programming.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn? Tell me a few things that you took away from the programming that you completed.
The program, it showed videos of other inmates committed crimes that they've been incarcerated for. They did 20 to 25 with chance with no parole. So it opened me up to put myself in their shoes and realize that that could have been me. I could have took somebody's life and ended up with 20 to 25. And I'm very thankful that it didn't get to that with me hurting somebody, because that's not the type of person I really am. So yeah, that's what taught me, and also like my victims as well, and listening to their victims and their side and how they felt. So it opened me up to that too as well,
Right,
to realize what I did.
right. That's really incredibly important to look at.
Thank you.
So you did come through without any disciplinary reports. That's a pretty good thing, right?
Yeah,
And you are working at Pursuit.
yeah, in Plainsville City, and I could keep the job when if released.
Is it a decent job?
Yeah, I'm a machinist. I do plane parts.
Right?
Yeah,
Something like a future there?
yeah. And I also want to go back to school for mortician, because I want to give back. Yeah, I want to give back to my community for people who can't afford that for their family. So that's something I'm looking at forward to.
Were you a big science person in school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, you're gonna go out with your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is like we said, incredibly, scary stuff that you did up there.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
glad that you have the reflection to understand that.
Yeah. Thank
Board
you.
members, anything?
Just a couple of things. I was surprised, looking at it just when I saw the date of birth of the victim and I calculated he had just turned 16. I realized how young he was at the time.
Yeah.
So also probably a new driver, but yeah, glad you recognize it because the bullet, I mean, it's so close. It was shattered the front driver's side window, the passenger window. There was a bullet hole in the driver's side door, and then another bullet damage on the driver's side frame. So I just wanted to kind of just acknowledge, because I just can't imagine being a new driver at 16 and all of a sudden, and just that's amazing that he didn't get hit with all of these, bullets coming so close to him. But I'm glad for both of you that and his whole family that that did not happen by miracle. But you have done a lot of good work while you're in there. It's wonderful. I did just want to ask, so it's incredible that you can continue to work for Pursuit, and I'm happy that you were in that program. You want to return to Waterbury? Where is Pursuit? Would you be able to work at Pursuit and live in Waterbury, or would you have to get back to the Groton area?
Yeah, I'll be able to live in Waterbury and go to Pursuit. My dad is committed to taking me, and I think it's like 20 to 15 minutes from Waterbury, Plainsville, CT.
Oh, great. Okay, excellent.
And I work 4 to 12:30 at night.
Okay. All right. So I was going to ask next about transportation, but that sounds good. And then your dad, so you'd be living with your dad and his girlfriend. How have you guys talked about, I don't know how well you know his girlfriend, and I know it's wonderful that they're going to sponsor you, and I'm happy that you have that support. Living with people is difficult, and you'll be adjusting to a lot of different things, and they'll be, how well do you know the girlfriend? Have you ever lived with them? And have you guys talked about how you'll handle conflict or anything? Because it's going to come up. Have you guys talked about how you'll communicate and handle things?
Yeah, my dad told me it's gonna be rules. I know that. And I knew my dad's girlfriend since I was young. They have 2 kids together. Yeah.
That's great. All right. I think think that's it. Thank you very much for answering our questions. Appreciate it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Board
You're
members.
welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a couple of things. Good morning. So one of these instances, you were in a stolen car, then you guys ran from it and then tried to carjack someone else. Were you the driver of the stolen car?
No, I was sitting in the back seat. My boy,
you
my
were- You were not the driver in any of these situations?
no, I was sitting in the back seat, and for the one for the carjacking, it was two my codees. They passed away. One of them passed away last year. Recently, I was in a relationship with him for 5 years.
Okay, that was
So
gonna be
that's
my
how
other
it happened.
question. That's my next question is about these. I have 3 co-defendants here. Carlos Vargas, Jasim Cherry, and Sierra Jones Whitfield. Who are these people?
Jasim Cherry was my boyfriend I've been with for 5 years. He passed away last year in October. And Sierra, Cece, she died 5 years ago after her release, like a few months after her release. Yeah. And Carlos, he's a friend of one of my friends I've been friends with for a long time.
You still talk to him?
No,
You have no intention to continue any kind of a friendship or situation with Carlos Vargas?
no, not at all.
Okay, and the other 2, I'm sorry, I didn't know that information, but you're saying that the other 2 passed away. I'm sorry. My condolences to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's really all I wanted to clear up. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Board Member Suzaskas. So, where we are here is these are a couple of very serious offenses. And so they're 85% offenses she's done in March. She's taking good programming, relevant programming. She very much sounds like she's learned. She has no criminal history. She's got a really good opportunity with Pursuit, career-wise. She is, EOC has trusted her as they have given her, approved her for community release. Where I am is that I could go along with parole here based upon there's no criminal history here, and she's done well while she's been in, and she's set up to do well in the community. So
Yeah, I'm in the same place. I mean, like you said, I don't like the nature and circumstances of this. But she's got no DRs. She's taken all of the programs. She said all the right things in the interview today
right.
about her plan for the future. She's got a job already working.
A good
And
one.
outside clearance, just the outside clearance alone, right, says a
Yep.
lot about what they think of her. And there's only a few people that, like she mentioned, there's 4 of them.
Right.
Amazing, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm in the same place you are. I'm in a place to grant discretionary parole today.
I am as well. Thank you.
Okay, and I had, so there was a question on on sponsorship.
Oh,
Is that still a question?
She feels confident about it, but I didn't know either if it was confirmed.
So, yeah, I had halfway house in, just if necessary.
So we're
Okay.
just,
Halfway house if necessary.
yeah.
No contact with BK.
Yep.
And no contact with CB, Carlos Vargas.
I had another one, MP.
MP?
I believe that's the attempted
carjacking,
carjacking victim.
Okay. So those,
And what about anger management? They should be.
So I had mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary.
Yeah.
I think also particularly considering the loss, just hearing about the losses she's endured and, but I'm open certainly, but yeah, I think give her some support.
Yeah, same thing like we did the last time, and let them
figure it out.
Okay.
I think you guys are on the right track.
Okay. And I just wanted to check in real quick. So you said 11/23 was the date.
Correct. Yeah, the DOC controlling offense is.
Yeah.
Parole, the controlling offense, so case notes show wrong.
Oh, you said that.
So it's 11/23.
So it's Sunday. So there's no chance of TS. So, okay, so just do 11/23,
Okay.
I had 11:24. All right, go ahead.
right?
I apologize.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
we're
won't be.
good.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
good. So, regarding Nestle Rodriguez, 435361, we moved to grant parole on or after November 23rd, 2025, with the following stipulations. Halfway house placement if necessary, mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary, no contact with victims B, K, or MP, and no contact with co-defendant Carlos Vargas. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Rodriguez, you've been voted to parole. Just a couple of things. We put down a halfway house because the sponsor isn't confirmed yet.
Okay.
So as soon as that, they'll work that out, okay? And your
Okay.
date, your parole eligibility date is this Sunday, but you'll hear something, at some point in the future.
Okay,
And
thank
the halfway
you.
house is just as needed. So also if the placement doesn't work, if you were released to your father's home and it's just seems better to go out in halfway house, that will be on there already
Yeah.
as an option for you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Best of luck.
This
You
concludes
too, thank you.
Charlie Rodriguez and Nick.
Hey, are you all set? Yeah, go committee or something else?
Hey, are you guys all set?
Yeah.
We are all set, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
You.
You too.
Bye.